All right, I've got a realtor that I've worked with for about a year and a half now. He just closed a 2-for-1 the first time, and he knocked into these people 3 months ago and is now getting the buyer under contract and listing her house here in the next couple days. So today's topic, let's talk about what do you do with the leads that you door knock or that you send DMs to, or leads come in and they're just not ready right now. What are the best ways to set up a follow-up system for conversion? A lot of times, most real estate agents, we get a lead, they're not ready, and we just throw them in the drip. And hopefully they reach out down the road, and that's about it. There are different techniques that you can implement that'll help you do that. You're doing all the work, you're prospecting all the time. How do you make sure that you're not wasting all that time that you invested to prospect? And then now you have all these leads. I guarantee that your conversion ratio will go through the roof because you're establishing such a good relationship out the gate, and you're leveraging social media to then allow for that top of mind to take place so that when they're ready, you're the one that they call. On top of that realtor that's out in Kansas City that is about to close that 2-for-1, there's another realtor that I partnered with here at Real in my local market, and she wanted to go door knock in 118 degrees. And I've knocked for 15 years and I've knocked in some crazy storms before, but it's been a minute since I've done that. And she wanted to go knock with me. And so I said, okay, let's go do this. And for about an hour and a half, it was really cool to see her perspective and feedback on how I was able to take the leads that weren't going to close right away, but then convert them through a follow-up process that would allow them to work with me over time. There were certain things that she saw as we were door knocking. And I recently asked her in the groups that I work with and coach with, what could I talk about today? Well, with Frankie's story in Kansas City, with Israel in Arizona, with Jess's question here in St. George about how do we take these leads and convert them, I wanted to mesh all that together, give you 3 or 4 suggestions to better convert your leads that are just not ready right now. All right, so let's set the stage. Let's say you're door knocking as your main prospecting method and you're talking to people and they're just not ready right now. The first thing I'm going to have you do is open up your Google Maps. After you talk to the person and you're walking down the driveway, you're going to your next house, you're going to pull up your Google Maps, you're going to click on the address, and you're going to hit save. You can then tag that house as a certain emoji and a topic. For example, ready in 3 months. Not interested, gave me a referral, possibly ready in the next 30 days. There's then a section for notes. You can take notes, and then after you're done knocking, you can go drop that in your CRM. So that's the first thing. Be better organized. If you're better organized, it sets you up to then convert them over time. The second thing that'll help you a ton when you're out door knocking or talking to clients is we were knocking for an open house. And so the pitch was really simple. Jeremy with Real, sorry to bug you. I'll be really quick. I just listed your neighbor's house. Did you know Ron? Super nice guy. We paid for the marketing video. I wanted to give that to you so that you had that for free. And if you thought of anyone that wanted to see it, you could send it over to them. If you're struggling prospecting and getting phone numbers or getting people to give you their emails, that works 99.9% of the time, because who doesn't want a free marketing video of drone footage of the neighborhood? And if it's not your listing, then simply just go take a horizontal video of the outside, inside the house, mesh that together in CapCut, and call it good. What that does for conversion is it allows me to give value to them. I can send the video, then I can send my Instagram page, then I can send my digital card. And now, because they've got so much value from me from that original prospecting experience, they then follow me back on social media. They then watch the video, which spins the algorithm. Now, even though they're not ready, over time, that parasocial relationship online develops. And when they're ready to buy, sell, or invest, I'm the one that they reach out to. The third thing that works really well after you are prospecting and you get these leads and they're just not ready is to then follow them or try to find them on social media. About a year ago, I swapped brokerages from EXP to Real. I started working with Paige Steckling here in Utah. And one of the things that she taught me was to send out my Instagram page more to clients when prospecting. It was genius because then my followers become local. They're not national. They're not random pages that'll never convert. They're local homeowners. So I started doing that when I would door knock. And that's one thing that you can do here is you send out the listing video, send out your Instagram page and your digital business card. Once they follow you, you can follow them back, engage with their content, send them a DM, a voice message DM, and say, hey, it was so good to see you the other day when we were door knocking, or it was so good to hear from you, or it was so good to meet you at the open house. But that relationship starts to really catch fire right out the gate because they start following you on social media. In addition to that, now you can run ads at your followers. So now they start to see your face continuously over time. In addition to that, you can run retargeting ads to your database and to your followers. So now when they're on the stories and they're swipe, oh, there's Jeremy, swipe, oh, there's Jeremy again, swipe, there's Jeremy again. And now they start to see you over and over again because you're top of mind. When they're ready or they have a friend that's ready to make a move, you are now the one that they refer business to. This happens all the time. I just got a message the other day from a family in my local market in St. George, Utah that said, hey, we see your videos all the time. We'd love to see a house in this neighborhood. Would you be okay showing that to us? And I said, yeah, great. But why did they reach out? Because they're seeing me all the time. Initially, they weren't ready, but because I leveraged social media, ads, retargeting ads, I was talking on my stories, they knew me, they trusted me, they liked me. And therefore, when they were ready, they reached out. One thing that works really well is reverse prospecting. So now you have all these leads in your database. They're now following you on Instagram. If you have a listing, one thing that you can do instead of just putting everybody on a drip is called reverse prospecting. If you don't know what that is, comment that below, shoot me a phone call, and I'll walk you through it. It's really simple. Essentially what you're doing is you're going into your MLS and all the agents that have buyers that are on a drip that meet the dimensions of your listing, you can then call them one by one and say, hey, I've got a listing, or shoot them a text or send them a voice message. I've got a listing that meets the criteria of your buyer. Have you shown this one to them? That aggressive approach, that attention to detail, that desire to convert versus just putting everybody on a drip is what allows you to convert. There's a realtor that I work with that runs our social media department now on the brokerage team, Jess here in St. George, Utah, that did this. Has a listing, wasn't moving. She reverse prospected. There was one realtor that followed her that didn't have anybody, another realtor that followed her that did have somebody. And because Jess reached out aggressively to reach out to realtors that had the clients that would want to come and see her listing, it worked. There was one showing request that came in. That agent and their client were able to come and see the listing. So see how this works? You can't just put people on a drip. You can't just hope that they eventually convert over time. If you're door knocking or if you're cold calling or calling FSBO and expireds, 90% of them are just not ready right now. You have to have a system on the back end to be able to convert them. So just have a better strategy. And the goal is to convert. So if you can get them to come onto your social media and you're active on your social media, then not only are you going to engage with them more, but you'll stay top of mind. And then when they're ready, they'll be ready. Just like that realtor in Kansas City. Frankie had met that family 3 months ago. They weren't ready. He then put them on their social media. They watched his YouTube, they watched his Instagram, and then they reached out. And then all of a sudden they went under contract on the buy side. Now they're listing their house. This happens all the time, but you have to be more intentional on the back end. If all of this is completely new to you and you haven't heard of reverse prospecting, or you haven't heard of how to get people to follow you on Instagram from the initial prospecting experience, that packet's $149. It's called Selling Homes. And it talks about how to take listings, how to close the appointment, how to prep the home, how to get it to the market, how to do the creative video, how to do the pictures. And then if it's stuck and it's not selling, how to then push it. So all these techniques we talked about, if you want it, comment Selling Homes, shoot me a text if you have my number, or find me on Instagram and shoot me a DM. If you want it for free and all the other training packets that we have, come on our broker side. It's completely free. Or get into coaching. All these training packets, from morning routines to weekly planning to exposure to follow-up to processes and systems and selling homes, and all of this is completely free. All the courses that you're seeing online are completely free if you join the brokerage side. In the last 30 days, we had 7 realtors all over the United States in Utah, in California, in Florida, in Minnesota join our brokerage team because they realize where they're at, they're not getting this type of training. So they come over and they partner with us on the brokerage side. So if that makes sense to you, or if that speaks to you, and you want all this training for completely free, then comment brokerage team down below, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or shoot me a text at 702-525-5766, and we'll make sure that we have a chat to see if that makes sense for you. All right, so what were your takeaways today? How do you have the initial prospecting experience? And if they're not ready, which 90% won't be, how do you set up a follow-up system that prioritizes conversion? Now, I did a video a while back on this, on follow-up, but what we talked about today is a lot of the nitty-gritty of how to prioritize conversion. Remember, you're doing all the work, you're prospecting all the time. How do you make sure that you're not wasting all that time that you invested to prospect? And then now you have all these leads. Go take a look at your notes. And as you apply these principles that we talked about today, I guarantee that your conversion ratio will go through the roof because you're establishing such a good relationship out the gate, and you're leveraging social media to then allow for that top of mind to take place so that when they're ready, you're the one that they call.